Band-Aids for Corpses. Verses in honor of Master Shinran Shonen by Gansen John Welch. In reality, we are already dead. But imagine we are alive if we listen to thoughts in our head. Our bodies and unenlightened minds are an illusion. But because of our ignorance, folly, and confusion, we succumb to this deadly delusion, consequently experiencing endless suffering that repeated births and deaths bring. And we know life in samsara is a struggle to survive, where very few prosper and thrive. And parasitic politicians promise the profits taxed and taken from the productive, to the unproductive parasites who prosper at the expense of the educated, constructive contributors who lose all wealth and power. This situation is not just or wise. So, throughout history, humans have sought in vain to put an end to injustice, suffering, and pain. So what is the solution to this endlessly repeated problem that has utterly defeated almost all human beings' greatest saints and sages, throughout all places and ages? The answer to finally bringing about an end to all suffering is to understand and realize that only the Dharma and words of the wise and compassionate Buddhas can free us from karma's terrible tyranny that traps us eternally in a prison built by our own thoughts, speech, and actions, from which we can never escape by means of distraction or frenetic activity or inaction, or cessation of thinking or preaching and teaching, false hopes, delusional dogmas and doctrines, or casting pearls before swine. We must learn to acknowledge our helpless state and terrifying future and inevitable fate, thereby becoming open to receiving Amida's gift of shinjin, or faith in Amida's primal vow, and begin to think and say each and every day, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you, Amida Buddha. Homage to Amida Buddha. I take refuge in Amida Buddha. The above verses were inspired by the following passages from the writing of Master Shinran Shonen. Gutoko's Hymns of Lament and Reflection. 94. Although I take refuge in the true Pure Land way, it is hard to have a true and sincere mind. This self is false and insincere. I completely lack a pure mind. 95. Each of us in outward bearing makes a show of being wise, good, and dedicated. But so great are our greed, anger, perversity, and deceit that we are filled with all forms of malice and cunning. 96. Extremely difficult is it to put an end to our evil nature. The mind is like a venomous snake or scorpion. Our performance of good acts is also poisoned. Hence, it is called false and empty practice. 97. Although I am without shame and self-reproach, and lack a mind of truth and sincerity, because the name is directed by Amida, its virtues fill the 10 quarters. 98. Lacking even small love and small compassion, I cannot hope to benefit sentient beings, were it not for the ship of Amida's vow. How could I cross the ocean of painful existence? 99. With minds full of malice and cunning, like snakes and scorpions, we cannot accomplish good acts through self-power. And unless we entrust ourselves to Amida's directing of virtue, we will end without knowing shame or self-reproach. 100. As a mark of increase in the 5 defilements, all monks and lay people of this age behave outwardly like followers of the Buddhist teaching, but in their inner thoughts believe in non-Buddhist paths. 107. Karmic evil is from the beginning without real form. It is the result of delusional thought and invertedness. Mind nature is from the beginning pure. But as for this world, there is no person of truth. Composed by Shaku Shinran. Namo Amida Butsu.